Hi, champions. Have you ever felt like you've given everything, only to see it all crumble right before your eyes? Ever worked tirelessly just to face failure when you thought success was within reach? That feeling of getting knocked down so hard that you wonder if it's even worth standing up again? I've been there. There was a time when I thought I had nothing left to give. But here's the thing. It's the fall that teaches you the most. Part 1. The first fall. I remember the day everything fell apart. The world around me seemed to crumble piece by piece, and I could almost feel the weight of it pressing down on my chest. It felt like the ground beneath me had been ripped away, leaving me to fall into an abyss I hadn't prepared for. It wasn't just the failure itself. It was the sudden, crushing realization that I had done everything right, or so I thought. Every ounce of energy, every waking moment, every sacrifice had been dedicated to one goal. My heart, my soul, my entire being invested in this dream. But there I was, staring at the aftermath of my efforts, asking myself what went wrong. The cracks in the foundation of what I had built were too deep to ignore, too wide to fix. And then, in the silence that followed, I could hear it, that voice. The one that had haunted me before. The one that always surfaced when I felt lost, when I felt defeated. "Maybe you're not cut out for this," it whispered. In that moment, I wanted to believe it. I wanted to let the weight of those words crush me, to give in and walk away. But something inside me fought back. Something inside me refused to let those words define my reality. I knew deep down that this was just a chapter, not the entire story. I wasn't broken, I was just bent. And I would find a way to straighten myself out. The temptation to quit was overpowering, like a storm trying to tear through everything I had built. It would have been easy to surrender to that voice, to say, maybe I am not enough. But I remembered something I had read once, a quote that echoed through my mind. It's not how many times you fall, but how many times you rise. I clung to those words like a lifeline, using them to pull myself back from the edge of despair. I stood up. It wasn't graceful or pretty. It wasn't a moment of sudden clarity where everything just clicked. No, it was messy, painful, and raw. But I stood up, and in that moment, I knew something had shifted. This wasn't the end of my journey. It was the beginning of something even greater. The fire that had once burned inside me, flickering in the background of my mind, now roared to life. It wasn't just the need to succeed anymore. It was a hunger for redemption, for proving to myself that I wasn't a failure, that I could rise again and again, no matter how many times life knocked me down. I couldn't afford to let the past define me. The mistakes, the missteps, the broken pieces, they didn't define who I was. I realized that the real power wasn't in avoiding failure, but in learning to rise from it stronger, more determined, and more relentless than ever before. Failure wasn't something to be feared. It was something to be embraced, something that could shape me into who I was truly meant to become. And so I got back up, but this time I wasn't just standing. I was standing taller, walking with a confidence that was born from the very pain that had tried to break me. I was different now, not because the world had changed, but because I had. You'll fall, you'll stumble, but it's what you do next that will determine who you really are. With those words in my heart, I knew that the road ahead wouldn't be easy. It never is, but it would be mine, and nothing, not failure, not fear, nor doubt, would ever stop me from walking it. Part 2. The rise of resilience. When we face obstacles, it's so easy to let them define us. It's tempting to shrink in the face of adversity, to succumb to the weight of life's challenges. We feel small. We feel weak. We feel like we can't go on. There's this overwhelming sensation that maybe we've reached our limit, that we've given all we can, and there's nothing left. Isn't that what failure feels like? A wall, impenetrable and final. The end of the road. But here's the truth. The moment we stop fighting is the moment we truly lose. The key isn't in avoiding hardship, but in how we face it. It's in our ability to rise, even when we feel as though we've been shattered beyond repair. That's where strength is born, not from the absence of failure, but from our response to it. I once met a woman who had faced more obstacles than anyone I knew. Her life was a series of painful blows, each one leaving a mark that would have broken most people. She had lost everything: her business, her home, even her loved ones. There was a time when it seemed like she had no more fight left in her, when it seemed like she would crumble under the weight of her losses. But what stood out to me wasn't her suffering, it was her resilience. You could see it in the way she carried herself, in the fire that burned behind her eyes. Life had knocked her down countless times, but every time she got back up, stronger, more determined, and more powerful than before. It was almost as if every fall she experienced became the very fuel that powered her comeback. She refused to be defined by her defeats. In the midst of her struggles, I asked her once how she kept going. How did she continue to rise when the world seemed set against her? Her answer was simple yet profound. When life pushes me down, I use it as fuel to rise higher. There was something about her words that struck me deep in my core. She didn't just endure her setbacks. She transformed them. She turned every hardship, every loss, into a stepping stone, a part of her growth. It wasn't just about overcoming the obstacle. It was about using the very force of that obstacle to propel her forward. She didn't allow her failures to be the end of her story. She understood something crucial. The road to success is not a straight line. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when you feel like giving up, when every part of you screams that you're not strong enough. But those are the moments that test you. Those are the moments that show you who you truly are. And she, without hesitation, chose to rise each time. That mindset, that unwavering resolve, was contagious. I found myself asking, why can't I be like that? Why can't I turn my struggles into my strength? She had this way of looking at the world, a perspective that turned failure on its head. To her, failure wasn't a final destination. It was a reminder that she was still in the fight. It was a lesson that made her stronger, smarter, and more resilient. There's a certain power that comes from knowing that you will not be defeated, that you will not allow yourself to be broken, no matter what life throws at you. It's this power that fuels perseverance. It's what keeps you moving forward, even when the journey seems impossible. It's the belief that no matter how many times you fall, the only thing that truly matters is that you get up, each time with more fire, more purpose, and more strength than before. I'll never forget the words she shared with me that day. It's not the things you lose that define you. It's how you use the things you have left to rise. Her story was a living testament to the fact that resilience isn't born from a place of comfort. It's forged in the flames of adversity, shaped by every painful moment you choose to fight through. She didn't stop. She didn't quit. She fought, she got up, and she moved forward. And that's exactly what I had to do, too. As I walked away from that conversation, I realized something profound. Every obstacle is not a wall, but a lesson in disguise. The true test isn't whether you can avoid failure, but whether you can turn failure into the fuel for your next rise. It's not just about surviving the storm. It's about dancing in the rain and embracing every drop that falls, knowing it will make you stronger. So I did what she did. I fought. I rose again. Part 3, the mental battle. But here's where it gets real. The hardest part is fighting those invisible battles, the ones no one sees, the ones that happen in your mind. It's easy to ignore the physical scars, the bruises, the cuts. You can wear them like badges of honor, proof that you survived. But the mental scars? Those are the ones that truly haunt you. The quiet, insidious whispers that follow you when you're alone. The voices that say, "You're not good enough," or "This is too hard." They're persistent, and they can be louder than any external noise, drowning out your confidence, your strength, your belief in yourself. And the worst part? They don't just go away. No, they linger, they evolve, they morph into something far more dangerous, something that can break you if you let it. I've had days when the mental exhaustion was too much to bear. The weight of everything on my shoulders, dreams unfulfilled, goals still out of reach, became too heavy to carry. But what hurt the most wasn't the physical struggle. It wasn't the fatigue of long hours or the pain from the relentless effort. No, it was the mental weight. The constant barrage of doubts, fears, and insecurities that seemed to pile up with every setback. It's as if your own mind becomes your enemy, a battlefield where every thought feels like an attack. It's easy to convince yourself that you're failing. The mind has a way of amplifying your weaknesses, reminding you of every moment you've stumbled, every wrong turn you've taken. It tries to convince you that you're not worthy of success, that you'll never be enough. Those mental battles can break you, piece by piece if you let them. But the beauty of this battle, it's all about making the decision to rise above it. Because the truth is, the mind, no matter how powerful, isn't your enemy. It's just a tool. It's only as strong as you let it be. You have the power to control your thoughts, to decide what you focus on, to choose which thoughts you allow to define you. Every negative thought, crush it. Every doubt, throw out the window. The moment you realize that your mind doesn't have to control you, that you can control it, you unlock a power that's limitless. You become unstoppable. There were days when I would sit in silence, alone with my thoughts, fighting the urge to give up. The weight of everything, the pressure, the uncertainty, it felt unbearable. But then, I'd remember something. It was a simple truth, a quote that had always stuck with me. Your biggest battle is with your own mind. Once you conquer that, nothing can stop you. That's when it clicked for me. The battle wasn't against the obstacles in the world. It wasn't against the people who doubted me or the circumstances that seemed to conspire against me. No, the real battle was the one taking place within me. It was the struggle to believe in myself when everything around me seemed to say otherwise. It was the fight to push forward when my mind whispered, "You can't do this." But with every small victory over those voices, with every moment I chose to rise above the doubts and fears, I began to realize something powerful. I was stronger than I thought. Each time I pushed through, each time I forced myself to believe in my worth, I broke through a barrier. I wasn't just getting closer to my goals. I was becoming the person capable of achieving them. The mind is a tricky thing. It can convince you of your limitations, make you feel like giving up is the only option. But the real power comes when you realize that the mind is not an obstacle. It's a tool. It's like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. The more you choose to reject the negativity, the more you condition your mind to rise above it. I remember standing in front of a mirror one day, looking into my own eyes and telling myself, "You are stronger than you think. You have everything you need to succeed. The only thing standing in your way is you." And in that moment, something shifted. The noise, the doubt, the fear, it all started to fade away. I wasn't fighting against an enemy that could destroy me. I was fighting to overcome myself. Once I accepted that, everything changed. It wasn't about the external battles anymore. It was about silencing the internal ones, about winning the war that no one else could see. The moments when I felt too weak to go on, I reminded myself, I'm stronger than my doubts. I am more capable than my fears. And with each step I took, I felt the weight lifting. It became clear, mental resilience was the key to everything. The challenges, the setbacks, the obstacles, they were all part of the journey. But the real test was how I responded to them. It was in the quiet moments of doubt that my true strength was revealed. So I made a choice. I chose to rise above. I chose to fight the battles in my mind, to push past the whispers of insecurity and doubt. Because I knew once I conquered my mind, there would be nothing standing in my way. Part 4. Pushing beyond limits. This is the part where you decide. The point in your journey where everything is on the line. It's the moment that defines who you are and who you will become. Will you let your circumstances define you, or will you define your circumstances? That choice right there, it makes all the difference. It's easy to look at your situation and think, this is it. This is all I can do. This is where my story ends. But what if it doesn't? What if this moment, this hardship, is merely a test? One that will show you just how much more you're capable of. The truth is, you have the power to turn your circumstances around. It's all in how you choose to react, how you choose to rise. I once heard a story of an athlete who had been told by everyone, his coaches, his peers, even his family, that he would never make it. His body was too weak, they said, his spirit too broken. He was told time and time again that he wasn't cut out for the grind, that his dreams were too big for him to ever reach. It would have been so easy for him to believe them. It would have been so easy to give in to the doubt, the fear, and the voices telling him to stop. But did he listen? No, not even for a second. He fought harder. He trained longer, pushing his body past what it should have been able to handle. He endured pain and exhaustion that most people would never dream of. Day after day, he took one step forward, even when everything around him seemed to scream, quit. Every single day, he pushed past what was comfortable. He pushed past his limits. And guess what? He became a legend. It wasn't magic. It wasn't luck. It was sheer determination. The belief that no matter what, he would not be limited by the circumstances others tried to impose on him. He realized something so powerful. His only true limit was himself, his mind, his belief in his own potential. Once he accepted that, nothing could hold him back. We all have limits. It's a part of being human. But here's the key. Those limits are often self-imposed. They come from our fears, our insecurities, our doubts about what we can truly accomplish. We look at the path ahead and we think it's too hard. It's too much. I'll never make it. And in that moment, we choose to accept our limits as the truth. But what if the truth is different? What if the only thing standing between you and your success is the belief that you can't push beyond your limits? That belief? It's the greatest barrier you'll ever face. You have to ask yourself, what's holding you back? Is it fear? The fear of failure? The fear of not being good enough? Or is it doubt? The uncertainty that makes you question whether you can ever reach your goals? Is it insecurity, the voice inside that tells you that others are better, stronger, faster? Whatever it is, throw it all away, because you are capable of so much more than you realize. Every time you push past your comfort zone, you discover a new level of strength within yourself. Every time you face a challenge, you build the resilience to conquer even bigger ones. And the more you push, the stronger you become, until one day you look back and realize that the limits you once thought were impossible to overcome have become your stepping stones. Remember this: it's not the limits that define you. It's your willingness to push beyond them. The true measure of your strength is not in how many obstacles you face, but in how you rise after each fall and how you keep moving forward when the world tells you to stop. The key is this: you're not defined by what happens to you. You're defined by how you respond to it. Life will throw obstacles your way. It will test you, push you, and try to break you. But you are not your obstacles. You're the fire that rises from the ashes. You are the force that keeps moving forward, no matter how hard the road gets. So, I challenge you to look at your limits, not as walls, but as invitations. Invitations to rise higher, to be better, to prove to yourself that you can push past anything standing in your way. You have the power to break through every barrier. You have the power to change the game. This is your time. This is your moment to decide. Will you let fear, doubt, and insecurity hold you back? Or will you rise above them and push beyond what you thought was possible? The choice is yours. Part 5. The victory that matters. In the end, it's not the obstacles that matter. It's not the struggles, the sleepless nights, the moments when you thought you'd never make it. It's not even the failures that haunt you or the setbacks that feel like the end of the road. No, what truly matters is the person you become because of them. The way you grow, evolve, and transform through every hardship. Every obstacle, every setback, every fall builds you up. It doesn't break you. It molds you into someone who is stronger, more resilient, and more determined. And here's the thing about this journey, about this struggle. The beauty of it all lies in the fact that it's not just about the destination. It's not just about reaching the goal you've been chasing. It's about who you become in the process. It's about the strength, the wisdom, the grit that you acquire along the way. That's the real victory. That's the true triumph. You might think that success is only about the final outcome, about crossing the finish line or getting that thing you've always wanted. But real success is measured by the person you become in the process. It's about learning to face your fears head on, about overcoming self-doubt and pushing through when everything inside you tells you to quit. Every failure, every hardship, every challenge shapes you into someone who's not just capable of success, but worthy of it. There's no glory without struggle. There's no triumph without perseverance. Success isn't a result of things happening perfectly without any hiccups along the way. No, success comes from the ability to keep going, even when it feels like you've hit a dead end. It's about rising time and time again, knowing that each rise is making you stronger, more capable, more equipped for the next challenge. You may face challenges. You may feel defeated. There will be moments when you question everything, the choices you've made, the path you're on, the future that seems uncertain. And in those moments, you'll feel like giving up. You'll feel the weight of doubt and fear creeping in, telling you that you're not strong enough, not worthy enough, not good enough. But here's the truth. Your success is inevitable. You might not see it now, but it is. If you keep going, if you keep rising, if you never give up, you will win. The world may throw everything it has at you, but the one thing it can't take away is your drive. The one thing it can't break is your resilience. You are unstoppable. The power lies in your refusal to quit, in your relentless pursuit of your dreams. No matter how many times you stumble, no matter how hard the road gets, you have the ability to overcome anything. And that's what will set you apart. The person who rises after every fall is the one who will succeed. That person, that's you. So stand tall. Fight with everything you have. Your journey is far from over. Every challenge is just another opportunity to prove how strong you are. Every moment of doubt is an invitation to rise again. Because in the end, your success is non-negotiable. No one could take that from you. The journey you're on is yours. It's filled with obstacles, yes. It's filled with struggles and hardships. But it's also filled with potential to grow, to become stronger, to defy the odds, and to achieve the impossible. It's filled with opportunities for victory, not just in the things you achieve, but in the person you become in the process. So, no matter where you are on your journey, remember this: you're already winning. You've already come so far. Every step you've taken has brought you closer to the person you're meant to be. And every step forward from here is one step closer to the victory that matters. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.